Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/confessions, where surprise, surprise, a cheating wife came crawling back. Let's begin. Our first story was posted by Reddit user Pleb101.
I'm a college freshman, and I'm currently visiting my mom over break. When I got there, I saw a crystal that was in my old room on display and asked about it. My mom then told me that the rest was gone after the yard sale. For context, my parents were moving the same time I was getting ready for college, so the house was in chaos, basically. I had a rock collection that I had been growing for around 10 years and had cost me over $1,000. Some were gifts from old friends or family, some I had found in special destinations of significance, and all of them were important to me. Since the collection took up 2 cabinets, I knew I couldn't take it to my dorm room and decided to pack them up. My brother also likes rocks, so I thought he would be a good fit to look after them while I couldn't, or at least until I decorated my room when my parents bought a house. Apparently, my brother picked through the boxes and told my mother to sell everything he didn't want to keep. My aunt and mother took a few each that they liked, but hundreds of rocks were either donated or sold, with none of the profit going to me and without my knowledge. When I learned this, I broke down into tears. I know they're just rocks, but they brought me a lot of happiness, and I can't believe they're just gone. Writing this out is making me cry again. My mother feels really sorry, and I don't blame anyone for this, but I'm crushed. How do I deal with this loss and not take it out on my family? I'm not mad at anyone. I just wish I'd explained better or something, and I don't want my family to think I'm angry with them. Edit 1. My family didn't mean to steal. They just assumed I was giving them away. It wasn't necessarily malicious, but it was definitely wrong. Also, I think the reason I'm struggling to be mad is because me and my mom have a really good relationship. She's the person I can always rely on, and I'm really hoping the situation is the misunderstanding I see it as. Thank you for all your replies. I haven't had anyone to talk to about it all day since my friends are all busy, and the only other people around are my family. Edit 2. My parents are well off, so I don't think they sold them for the money. Any money made was probably put into household funds, and I doubt they made $1,000 off the items. That's just how much I've estimated I've spent. I would feel very guilty to ask them for that much, especially since they are paying for my college. So I'm thinking about maybe asking them to buy something of equivalent value. I've never had to bargain with my parents, so I'm not sure how this will go down. I'm going to talk to them tonight since my dad is here now. I'm going to take the advice of writing something out to read them. All the people saying I'm a pushover are 100% correct, but I'm going to try not to be when I talk to them. Edit 3. This is probably going to be my final edit. I just talked with my parents, and I used kind of a long speech that included some specific memories I had connected to the rocks and asked to be compensated financially for the loss. I was crying the whole time, so I'm not sure how much of it they understood. Surprisingly, they're completely willing to pay me back for it, and my parents were both completely sorry and admitted it was their fault. They told me that they were surprised that I didn't want the rocks, but that at the same time, I was giving away other sentimental things, like stuffed animals, that they thought I would have kept. Because of this, they didn't think to call me to confirm, since the times they had with other things I had agreed. They said they're going to get everything back from my aunt and brother. My mom has already rounded up what she took, and they want to take me rock shopping the rest of the weekend I have together with them. This has been such a chaotic day for me, and I never expected so many people to reach out. For those suggesting it, I am looking into therapy. I think that my issues with confrontation and social pressure in general warrant some professional help. My dad actually notes that he was proud of me for bringing it up to them in the way I did. I'm going to be a combination of mad and sad for a while, but now it isn't all stuck inside of me. Thank you to everyone for pushing me to talk to them up front. I probably wouldn't have done it without the help.
Oh, OP, your post just unlocked a memory that I have forgotten a long time ago. Hold on to your Dragon Balls, ladies and gentlemen, because it's once again story time with Uncle Patsun. So back in my elementary days, I wasn't really allowed to have pets because, well, you know, poverty and stuff. But after saving some money through my birthday and Christmas, I had enough to buy a pet, too actually. I bought 2 mice. You know, the white ones. Even though I only had them for about a month, I really cherished them. They were my first pets after all. And then tragedy struck. My mom found out. She was so pissed off because in her own words, How could I let damn rats in the house? She grabbed them from my DIY cage that I made for them and quite literally chucked them out the window as hard as my mom could. I ran outside trying to find them, but I only found one and it was already dying. I cried my eyes out that night, and I guess my mom felt really bad about what she did, that she treated me to some fast food that weekend, and a few weeks later, she gave me a stray kitten that she found on the street. That cat stayed with me for 19 years until she died of old age. Fun times. Our second story was posted by Reddit user Big Town Pizza Lawyer.
I'm 31, and my ex-wife, Claire, is 35. We were married 10 years ago, right when I turned 21 and graduated college. We were married 5 years. During my whole marriage, I thought we were happy. I certainly was. Anyway, I worked in the IT field and still do. We never got into fights during our marriage, and our sex life seemed to be satisfying. A couple of months before I finally caught her with her affair partner, she turned cold to me. Whereas before, she had loved to initiate sex and loved having it with me, suddenly we tapered off. Every day turned into once a week. Then for the last 2 weeks before I outed her, not at all. I caught her because she had left her phone out, and it was still open to a naked selfie that she had sent to a number I didn't know. Although I was crushed, I kept my head on and took photos of her phone with my phone. I saw her message stream with her boyfriend, some guy from the gym that I was paying the bill for. I didn't confront her. The texts told me all I needed to know. They had been screwing while I was at work, in my bed. I just kept quiet. Then the following Saturday, when I knew she would be at her supposed double yoga class, and that's why I'll be gone 3 hours, I loaded my stuff into my car and left. I had talked to a divorce attorney, and I would be fine. I was 25 and didn't have serious money. Her father had passed away and left her like $200K, so she was rolling in dough. I had no claim on that money, nor should I have had one. We had no kids, although she had always claimed we would start having kids when she turned 30. That birthday came and went, but rather than start having kids with me, she decided to just spread her legs for someone else. Although I was the sole income earner, she was in possession of a vast amount of money, by my standards, and also had a college degree and was a school teacher for 2 years before we got married. The divorce papers were left on the kitchen table. She, of course, blew up my phone later with all kinds of apologies and begging and pleading, but I ignored her. A lot of her friends tried to call me and left nasty messages about how I was a coward and never loved her. Otherwise, how could I ghost her? I ignored all of them. The only person I called was the guy's wife, who promptly dumped him. But I guess it worked out for my ex because she and her boyfriend got married just a few months after the divorce finalized. The only time I ever saw her again was in front of the judge to end our divorce case, where I had to pay 0 alimony, and it was a clean break. She never looked at me once, but kept her head down. She brought her boyfriend from the gym, and he was flexing, trying to look hard, like he was going to fight me. I just shook my head at him and thought he gets what he pays for. I've been on dates since then, and have had sex a few times since then, but have never been in a long-term relationship since. This was my own choice. In a lot of ways, I'm not over my relationship with her. I don't love her anymore, but I'm turned off to loving anyone now. I reconnected with some of my friends I had neglected during my marriage, since my wife disapproved of me being friends with anyone. Facebook used to be an app I frequent, but pretty much anyone I care about I already see and converse with face-to-face or on the phone, so I never use it anymore. Apparently Claire had spun a narrative that I was mentally abusive, and that's why she had no choice but to leave me for a fair partner. My parents didn't buy it, and my close associates didn't buy I either. But she tried selling that crap to my boss to get me fired, I guess as revenge against me ruining her boyfriend's marriage. Ironic that she caped for his marriage when it was his new bachelorhood that helped make a relatively honest woman out of her. I just showed my boss the texts where my ex begged for mercy and forgiveness, and admitted she was having an affair and that I was a good husband, etc. He just told me he was sorry and gave me 2 weeks paid off to rest. Fast forward 6 years. I'm still single and just working in my same field and at same company, but making more money now, and I am doing pretty well for myself. My own apartment, I've got savings, I've got a 401k, a car, and am generally happy. I do what I want, when I want, and answer to no one. I suppose I could put a down payment on a house, but I don't need one, and I'm happy where I'm at. But last week, my ex started texting me again. I never blocked her number, since there was no need to. She hadn't been trying to contact me anymore since the flurry of old messages a long time ago, begging me not to divorce her and telling me the other guy, who she is now married to, didn't mean anything to her, blah blah blah. At first, her messages were just friendly. Hi OP, it's Claire. Long time no see. How are you? I know I fucked up. Can I call you? Then she tried to call me, at least 10 times. I didn't pick up and I didn't answer any of her texts either. OP, this is still your number, right? I talked to our mutual acquaintance and he says this is still your number since you replied to him on it. Please talk to me. She then told me how much she missed me and how I was the only man who was ever good to her. Then she started sharing information. OP, a fair partner is such a bastard. He hurts me. I don't know what to do. I made the biggest mistake of my life, throwing you away. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I still ignored her. Then she started naming off different ways that he hurt her. I don't ever want to contact her again. So I texted our mutual acquaintance, a person who had joined in on calling me a coward years ago, but with whom I still have some contact because I know his family, and told him what Claire told me and asked him to get into contact with the proper authorities if what she's saying is true, because I don't give a motherfucking shit about Claire anymore, and I don't care if she starved to death in the street or died, but maybe her friends care. I actually used those words. Looking back, it's obvious I do care. If I bothered to try to send such a hateful message through an intermediary, but I didn't want to get involved otherwise. I also think Claire is trying to manipulate the former nice guy I used to be. The old me would have rushed to her rescue and be a shoulder to cry on. Not anymore. The acquaintance told me I was an evil person and a monster and blah blah blah. I told him to fuck himself and blocked him. For the first time in forever, I logged into Facebook. As expected, no one that I used to think of as a friend had ever tried to message me to comfort me or help me back when I was first getting cheated on and divorced. I had gotten a lot of support from my family and actual friends and coworkers who had since become outside friends. Tons of people who were her friends had been sending me messages now, telling me they were right to support her because I was abandoning her in her time of need. Like seriously, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do? I'm her ex-husband and someone she cheated on. They know about the alleged misconduct on the man's part, so as her friends, what are they doing about it? I'm just some guy she used to know and who she hurt. I kept on getting the abuse. I screen captured all the texts she had sent me recently as well as years ago. My number never changed and I never delete anything, and have decided to stop taking high roads on social media and just pasted all their feeds with her texts where she begged me to take her back and she admitted to cheating on me. Finally, they left me alone. Now she is still texting me complaining about what I said to the mutual acquaintance and accusing me of never loving her and that I was an evil person. I never replied to her. I feel good about what I did, and in my own sick way, I feel like I have closure. Claire, if you're reading this, fuck off and return to the shadow realm.
You owe her nothing, and it's insane that there are people out there who think that you do. Why isn't she going to those friends for help? Oh, I know why. Because they don't want to deal with her bullshit, so they want her to be your problem again. Hard pass. Nicely done, OP. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.